Hey yo, it's 6 a.m. in the morning for me, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe. Thank you. Enjoy the video.
Hello, Sims. Welcome to the Past Podcast. I'm Multismurf 3000, and the co-host will be RoboDank.
Yo.
And today's guest, well, it's gonna be three guests, but our main guest today might be Godstatus.
Hey, what's up?
So, Robo DM'd Godstatus to get on the podcast, even though Godstatus refused the first time. So,
Damn.
even
Okay, just telling
even
that to
though I
everyone.
told him not to because I didn't think Godstatus would still accept, he
I,
accepted, which is great.
I wasn't aware of who really led the podcast.
Oh,
Well, wait, now that you are aware, you should probably say no, though, in
yeah.
my opinion.
Now you are aware.
Nah, I was just making sure it wasn't anyone that I had issues with.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't really know if you have any people that you have issues with that are even the hosts on the podcast.
I doubt it. None of them are all gents. So.
Yeah.
Also, two
Um.
returning guests, by the way, Spirals and Oscar. Say hello.
Yeah.
Greetings.
Barrel,
Oh,
say hello.
my bad. Yeah, I'm on push to talk because I'm streaming.
Oh, okay. um. So, well, before the general questions, well, would you like to tell us about yourself?
I played Legos for a living, sort of a living. Professionally for all the family to enjoy. I don't curse unlike Oscar. I've been doing PF for about 5 years, played competitive for about 3 of those years, and I basically just play really casually now for the sake of YouTube and everything like that.
I'd like to state an objection. I have been invited to STAR program, so I'm legally not allowed to swear.
Oh.
Oh my
Damn.
god.
It's true.
Well, I have one clip of an interesting. Yes.
Is it the, is it the every weapon challenge where
Yeah,
I
the
told
melee one.
someone? Yeah. We'll talk about that one, all right?
Rob, I don't think you've seen it.
I'll watch it after.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because Oscar also wasn't there when we asked that, would you like to tell us about yourself, Oscar?
What am I doing? I'm a Phantom Forces YouTuber with over 100,000 subscribers. I have more clout than Chris. He's a little. Actually, I'm not allowed to say that. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I do Phantom Forces YouTube, and that's about it.
Nice.
No,
Good
play
to know
Counter
that
Strike.
there's shit talking inside of the podcast and
You,
it's
you,
not me who's saying it.
you also played competitive for a long time.
I
Still
played a
kind
match
of
like
do. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, well, so Godstatus kind of answered it. Robo, you can take that question.
Wait, which one?
Oh my god, Robo, very organized. Good job.
The basic one. Okay, when did you start playing PF? Godstatus.
He already
February of
answered.
2016.
Okay. Was that
And what
right
about you,
after the
Oscar?
beta ended, or?
I honestly don't know. I saw it on YouTube and decided to play. Well, granted, the real reason I started playing PF is someone I greatly disliked started playing, and my entire goal was to get into a game with him and just kind of waffle stomp him down the drain. Because he was known to be very upset for anyone who was better than him, which was a lot of people. So I purely started playing to get a reaction out of him just for my own kicks and giggles. And then I eventually started streaming PF on Twitch and got invited to competitive and things like that.
Damn. That's a great goal to go for just to play Phantom Forces.
Oh yeah, I was dedicated to the cause.
Is this just
Sounds like
someone you knew in your friend group, or is it someone actually like public?
Someone public at the time. He's no longer around anymore, but I had a great dislike for him, to say the least.
Okay.
so.
did you-
What about you, Oscar?
Okay.
Oh, I started playing Phantom Forces around 5 years ago, or 6 years even, around 2015. I basically started it because of one. Actually, I played it in the alpha. Well, right after it became free to play, right? And it was because of my friend. We all basically played Roblox back then because we were 10 years old, literally. And he found the game, and it was insane back then. It was insanely well made for a game back then. Like, consider the games like those minecart games, and then Phantom Forces. That was the level of insanity it was. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into it quite quickly, but then I quit for like a year until like 2016, 2017, where I then joined a player point clan when leaderboards was a thing, known as Forever Marked. Yeah,
Rip
and then
leaderboards.
a dude in Forever Marked, known as Marcus Decimatron, thought I was good, so I joined Comp, and that's how I met Spirals and Chris.
Interesting.
When did you start doing YouTube for Phantom
Uh,
Forces?
when Chris was shouted out by Synthesize, roughly, I think. That was like
Oh,
1.5 years ago,
Godstatus.
2 years ago.
Yeah, it'd be about 2 years
Godstatus
ago.
as well can answer that. When did you start YouTube?
Technically, like 4 years ago, I've really only been active on YouTube for about 2.
All right. Well, is it also because you guys had shit PCs that you started playing Phantom Forces?
No, I had a perfect PC. I was playing whatever I wanted at the time.
Finally.
I
The thing
just
is, I've always had of a quote unquote overkill PC. When I started playing Phantom Forces, I had a 1080 Ti. Not when I started. When I started, I had some laptop, but then after I got a computer with a 1080 Ti, and Phantom Forces was still just more enjoyable than most games, honestly.
mm,
That's impressive because
Oh,
most people say Phantom Forces is not fun to play because, I mean, it's Legos, you know?
That's whatever.
that to be
See,
fair,
for
despite its negative, like it's still kind of like addicting to play from time to time. Like you just enjoy, like you get a
Especially when
weapon you
you
enjoy and
shit
just
on kids. You know, when you go in pubs and just shit on kids, isn't that just satisfying?
sometimes it can also get
see
boring
that's
though.
that's
Phantom
mostly
Forces
why I
are
played.
yeah. Phantom Forces is arguably better than Call of Duty Cold War.
That's
No,
not
I'm
saying much.
serious.
That's not
Cold War
saying much at all.
yeah, that is true actually. Phantom Forces is arguably one of the best FPS games. I'm gonna say it because it might be on Roblox, but the movement is so clean, guns just work, and it's on fucking Roblox.
Yeah, no.
Guns work, yes, but there are also guns who just
Well, that's any game. Have
EP12, you
you
know?
That's any game, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
BF4 we got the AK-971, Modern Warfare got FAL, DMR-14, whatever. I don't know. Apex in the start was Spitfire and stuff like that. Every game has OP guns.
Yeah, just Phantom Forces is like every shotguns
For
and
me,
almost every LMGs.
for me, the reason I enjoy Phantom Forces is just you go on the game and you instantly start playing. Like there's no menu, there's just you press spacebar once you join and you're in the game, you know. Well, and
Yeah.
like the games I used to play, like when I played PF a lot, was like CS and stuff, Rainbow
Mhm.
Six, and then you have to like queue and like solo queuing is like horrible in those games. In this game, I can like solo queue and not get yelled at by a Russian. So
Yeah.
there's a that's like that's why it like used to be my favorite side game in between matches and stuff. I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, or
Mhm.
What do
they
you
just
guys
had
think would be a voice chat for Phantom Forces? Do you
No,
think it also
God,
would
no.
be a good
No,
idea?
never.
There was a story about like if someone who was working for Roblox was like creating a voice chat and then they got booted off the company. So they definitely don't want any voice chats.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but there's just a bunch of racist and homophobic 10-year-olds.
Yeah,
So
I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
because the filter wouldn't work.
I was gonna say, have you played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 in its prime?
We've all seen the
Yeah.
clips for sure. Though.
Yeah, I unfortunately don't want my feelings hurt by 10-year-olds.
Or people
Got-
being like, "Stop camping, please!" all the time, you know.
so,
And just
Godstatus, you had a good computer before you even started PF. So, what did you play before PF for the most part?
Before PF, I want to say a lot of League of Legends still at that time. A good amount of RuneScape as I've always played. I don't know, like I always had a decent computer for many years now, and then even when I was playing PF before I built my current computer, I was still able to play like Call of Duty Warzone and everything just fine. I never really had any issues. I more or less just upgraded because I had the ability to,
Was
but
was
really just played
PF
whatever.
was PF your first Roblox game?
Not necessarily. I had played Roblox a few times with friends many years prior on like some random racing game and some random Dragon Ball Z game. But as far as like actually sitting down and playing Roblox more than like a day or two at a time, yeah, PF would be my first game that I've actually played.
Okay.
Well, also Phantom Force is basically the only game I play on Roblox because Roblox is either role play or Phantom Forces.
Hmm.
You know?
Have you played Miners Haven?
What?
Have you played Miners Haven?
Oh, I tried. I don't really like that kind of game.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Except like when you were like when I was very young, like Tycoons, you know? When they
Yeah.
were big, when Tycoons were a big game.
when tycoons weren't copy paste of each other, I remember that. 2012.
Yeah. And when the best game that I mean, quote unquote, the most popular game, Adopt Me, you know, when that wasn't a thing. Yeah, those
Mm.
years.
I mean,
Miss
Adopt Me is
those
right on the
years.
downfall now. It's this worse game called Brookhaven. I'm saying worse because of the fact that it's generally like models are awful. It's developed literally just worse than Adopt Me. I'm just gonna say this: Adopt Me is a beautifully developed game, right? But it's just so much better than Brookhaven, and we are not the target audience. You know?
But also, it just destroys the servers every time they release like
The
one
Blue Fart
pet
Unicorn 94.
from a copy pasted egg. You know, all the kids are like, "Oh my god, oh my
When
god!"
the
And then
Adopt
they close
Me,
the server.
when the Adopt Me game releases the new sparkly unicorn rainbow dog shit update, and all the
Oh
servers
my god, oh
melt.
my god, oh my god! No way! Oh, I gotta play right now. Then 1 million people
to be
plays.
fair, it's
Server.
making
Bye.
it's making Roblox a lot of money. Like, I think because of
Yeah.
Adopt Me, they actually had more concurrent players on Roblox than like CS and stuff, which is mental to me. So
Oh yeah,
that's
they
So
had
amazing.
like
more concurrent players. Yeah.
I once saw like 985,000 people just on Roblox on Adopt Me, and I was like,
What was the
bruh,
peak for Adopt Me? It was
It was
something
over 2
mental.
million.
Yeah, it was over 2 million.
Jesus, man.
how many?
Over 2 million.
Oh my god!
I've
Yeah,
Wait,
shut
hold
up.
on.
I've still
Look,
not played that game. Like, I don't know what you even do
in
with it.
general, in general, I just posted what an Adopt Me update looks like.
Oh
Okay.
If
no,
you
it
would like
was
to go check,
1.8 million before they broke the servers.
bruh.
So they would
Yeah,
have easily gotten to 3 million, but whatever.
bro, how does Roblox must be making so much fucking money with that. Like, the money must be flowing in like like a waterfall, you know?
Oh, well, if you
Yeah.
think about how much games like PF or Bad Business or Arsenal make, yeah, no, they're making a game like PF in its prime was pulling easily over $1 million a year.
Like
And
this,
that's just their split of the cut. Like that's not even Roblox
yeah.
taking their percentage and everything.
Oh, I looked at something in your group, like if you make a group or clan, whatever the name,
Mm.
and you have a game in it, if you get 100,000 Robux or something like that, like from revenue, you can actually get paid by Roblox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why people make games right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, I mean, I didn't really know that, but people who doesn't know,
Like
they can
Phantom
know now.
Forces earns an absurd amount of money. Like the developers of Phantom Forces do not need a work at them. Like it's insane. How many
Plus,
developers are there of Phantom Forces right now? Like 4, 5?
Probably
I
5
mean,
people on the consistent payroll.
Shay, Leto,
Axis,
Axis.
Toothless, Mar.
Yeah, exactly. But Mar is more of a contractor, right?
Yeah, but he's still on payroll.
Raspy.
Raspy as well. Yeah.
Raspy must be given the most paid. Like the like he must be the one that needs to get paid the most. Like
Well,
for
no,
what he does.
Raspy actually did a lot for free, from what I understand, for a really long time.
What?
Just
Yeah.
enjoyed working on it.
Damn. Yeah,
Damn.
that's what you mean by like passion in your work, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, now he gets paid out.
I don't know
So-
where I read it, but I'm pretty sure the Roblox company is worth a lot of money. It's like 30
Mhm.
billion net worth or something, which is mental.
Roblox net worth. Let me just check right now.
Uh, I just checked it.
It's 4 billion, I think.
See, there's a Wikipedia that says 30 billion, so I don't even know. All these stats make no sense.
I don't know, man.
So let's move on from this anyway. So Godstatus, you kind of said you played PF because you hated someone or something, and you wanted
Yeah.
to just bully them, I guess. But after that, what was the reason you kept playing PF?
I got into competitive at like rank 40-ish is when I started scrimming with people. I wasn't even able to play in CPFL at the time. I think you had to be at least rank 50. So I started scrimming with people. I actually got invited to competitive because I was streaming on Twitch a while ago. Granted, like I said, this is like 5 years ago now. And a guy named Enderchrome brought me in. I was originally on Void Clan until I was told that, God, they were terrible, and they were not lying to me. So I eventually made the move to TA the Anarchist, and I stayed with them for, I want to say, a year and a half, and then we eventually made CPFO. But I kept playing mostly because of competitive, and now it's mostly YouTube.
Okay.
Why did you make CPFO? Like, what gave you the idea to just create a league with other people?
PFL's death.
Yes.
Yeah, CPFL dying was the reason we had to do it.
Damn. But wasn't there like a
MFW,
bunch
I
of other
missed a
leagues?
conference call to become a founder by like 6 minutes. I just didn't wake up early enough.
No, at the time there really wasn't any other leagues. There was like CPFA, but that had been a long time a dead meme at this point. So really CPFO was the only active league when we made it.
Do you think that it was a good idea to make CPFO? Like,
Yeah.
with how far it went?
Yeah, it was definitely a good idea. It had a lot of ups and downs, but it was definitely like somebody was going to do it. We had just taken the initiative to do it.
I mean, for a non like partnered league at like season 6, in its peak had like 200 something players. That's a lot for like Stylus didn't even say, "Oh, there's a league." No, you just got those many people to play, even without like partnership.
Wasn't it
Yeah.
after CPFL that Stylus distanced himself from comp for a bit?
Um,
Or am I wrong?
So it's kind of a long backstory to it. I guess that's probably the right answer is around after CPFL. There was the issue with it was a lot of toxicity, a lot of drama. We quite literally mutinied CPFL at one point and got Daniel, the horse dude, out of power because he was quite abusive and overstepping boundaries with things. And then he got offered to be a game mod at Stylus, so that obviously did nothing for us. But after that point, yeah, they started to distance themselves quite a lot from competitive.
Yeah, I feel like whenever we do these podcasts and it's an old gen talking about those times, I always feel like if the community had been a bit less toxic, little bit less dramatic, I feel like maybe we would have had a SEL bit earlier, for example.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We gotta thank Division because it was Division's idea to do this, to do SCL, and if it wasn't for Division, Stylus probably wouldn't have made another league by now. When you think about it.
Yeah,
Well,
I kind of agree. It was a really big issue with, like I said, the toxicity and overreacting, blowing a lot of things up. But there was also people in this community who are just always going to be toxic that we have no control over.
so why did Stylus like give a prize pool that's only like in some seasons? Like season 1, it was Desiree, and then season 5.
So I think it also comes back to the whole toxicity and bad public image thing. Season 1, it was, the reform of CPFL, making it better, getting rid of the toxicity. And then by season 2, all the toxicity was back, all the issues were back. It had a lot more downs than ups, I would say.
But why did they still like gave it chance like season 5, even though they knew it was still toxic?
Mostly came down to who we were connected to at that point. We had people that were, I guess, quote unquote, higher up or more liked in stylists to kind of rally for us, but at the same time, it was kind of a futile effort. Like, it really didn't go anywhere other than those 2 seasons.
I gotta ask, Spires, wasn't it you that made sure that prizes actually were a thing during season 5?
Yeah, I definitely didn't abuse the fact I was stylist staff and with the developer connection to get prizes, and then my team won, coincidentally. It was still pretty awesome, all things considered. There's still people who have that tag to this day.
That's pretty cool.
Which tag?
SBR, Smiling
Oh,
Blue
yeah.
Rock, the
SBR.
best team CPFO season 5, probably the best one-season team to ever exist.
I don't know. Desire was the thing.
What?
Yeah, I don't know, but we were having sex.
Oh.
Oh, damn.
He's got me there.
That's interesting.
Oscar, the same question for you than what I just asked Godstatus at the start. What made you want to play Phantom Force instead of like anything else back then?
I genuinely, actually, I didn't back then. I didn't actually play as much Phantom Forces as
Oh yeah, you stopped a year, right, or something? And
I played a lot of Arma. I have like 2,000 hours in Arma now, and I played a lot of CS:GO too. And then I genuinely found those kind of games boring for whatever reason. Like all, AAA FPS games got extremely boring. So I just went to Phantom Forces, and it has been very cool because I've basically made a lot of friends, to say the least. Like even people that don't even play Phantom Forces anymore are still, friends. So, yeah.
okay, cool.
Alright, well, I guess we can go to the next question before we run out of time, you know? So, you guys continue playing Phantom Forces, but why do you continue playing Phantom Forces? Is it only like because you get, views or something like that?
Oscar, I'll go first on this one. So
Yeah.
I still enjoy the game to a certain extent. I just can't play anywhere near as much as I used to. I think it's really come down to over the years I've become a bit petty and like annoyed about a lot of things in the game and the community, so that definitely has an impact on things. But overall, I don't have the same love for the game that I used to. But that doesn't mean like even if I stopped doing YouTube, I would still occasionally hop on the game. So it's really playing in limits at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a bit of a
Personally,
love-hate relationship? Is that
Yeah.
okay? Go on, Oscar.
personally, I've generally not played games as much for whatever reason. I just sit and watch YouTube and whatever, talk with friends, and that's about it, really. It's nothing against Phantom Forces, but it's almost the same story as Chris sometimes because sometimes I really don't want to play Phantom Forces. I can not play to the same extent as I did. I remember back when I was like level 70, I could get hundreds of thousands of XP each day, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
No.
the thing is like when I played PF as a side game, like you don't really mind a lot of the things that are bad in it because you just play as a side game. But now that it's supposed to be my main game, there are like weeks where I'm like I really just don't want to play. I just really don't want to play, and it's like that uh, could could be because the game just wasn't meant to be played as much, you know? Cause like I don't even play that much, but like so I'm like impressed that you guys still play at all sometimes, like because you guys probably play way more than me at the moment.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you've been playing Phantom Forces for a while, it's why would you just go away from it, you know? Like
Mm.
you would still play from time to time. Like you won't completely go off Phantom Forces.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know anyone who actually did.
Fangster. Whatever.
So from what I've heard, in 5 years there might be Core 5 or Core 6.
Dude, I
Yeah.
hate
Do you
this
think you
question
guys will
so
play it?
much.
Do you think you guys will play it?
Oh, without a
Yeah.
doubt, yeah.
Oh damn.
Thing is, it will probably become alpha in probably like late 2021 or mid 2021.
Yeah.
Like I heard that they rewrote the entire framework of the game because it was supposed to be an alpha in Christmas, like 2020. But apparently I the thing is, it just looks truly amazing at the moment. It looks like it's gonna be the best FPS of all time. Like Phantom Forces has been on the top for such a long time, and now that they've worked for it for so long, they know how to make a game 10 times better.
It sounds like
But
you're excited for it.
yeah, but there's one thing that I'm scared about. It's World War II. World War II games tend to be very bland when it
Yeah.
comes to gun choice and everything like that. It's always just STG 44, MG 42, M1 Garand, whatever. So I don't know. What if they made Phantom Forces 2 with core framework?
Imagine.
Phantom Forces 2, let's go.
Dude,
Yeah,
imagine if they made Phantom Forces with the movement, but you don't fall over thin air. Oh my god.
yeah.
Be
Let's not
epic.
get our hopes up.
Or basically when you can just throw grenades everywhere and still get like 5 million kills with it, you know?
Hmm.
Come
Yeah. Or have like rank 2s using BFG.
It's an unfortunate day we live in, truthfully.
Yeah. Uh The days when BFG didn't exist.
If core comes
That's
out, like, are you guys gonna like switch to it? Obviously, you're probably still gonna do PF, but are you gonna like focus on core more, or
if core blows up, we're definitely
Yeah.
switching.
yeah?
So the thing with core coming out is that most people will not most, but like, you know, kind of the diehard PF people will probably end up switching to core because it'll be the better made game. For me and Oscar, it's, you know, everything is looked at sort of through a YouTube lens on how it can kind of push us ahead of things.
Mhm.
So while we'll probably both really enjoy core and play it a lot just on our personal time, as far as like YouTube and everything goes, that will also be a really big factor. If, you know, we start uploading core and it's doing good, then yeah, we'll probably full steam core and just kind of see where that takes us.
About to
Makes
become
sense.
Flamingo.
So Godstatus.
Mhm.
So what are your previous teams in competitive Phantom Forces?
Oh, okay. So I started on technically Void Clan, then I went to TA the Anarchist.
Okay.
After that, it was Desire for season 1 of CPFO. Then I went to PR Phantom Rangers. There was one season where I got bored of winning, and so I went to EPFC, which was quite literally the worst team in the league at that time. I think they were like 0-14 or something. Like, God help them, they couldn't win a game if you paid them. And we actually went against PR on Desert Storm Flare Dom, and I somehow got my group of nincompoops to win a round against PR, which was just it was amazing in itself. The fact that PR at the time was like the best or second best team, and this team was 0-14, and I joined them, and we got them to win a round against the best team.
That must have
So that
been
was
like
really fun.
a super big upset, right? Like
Well, we didn't win the entire, you know,
yeah,
match. We won
even the
one
map,
round,
just
but
one map. Yeah, that's
yeah,
pretty mental.
it was a good feeling. I was shouting out calls like it was my day job. I became a full blown drill instructor with those kids. But they managed to pull it through, and I was so damn proud. It felt like a proud father, honestly. But yeah, after EPFC, I think I went back to PR the next season, and then I quit for a while. And then we made Bobby Schmurda BS, and I just played with a bunch of friends with that, and that was the last time I played.
Can I just say, like, I got bored of winning? Might be the most baller line I've ever heard on this
Well,
podcast.
yeah, because like TA and even in CPFL, TA had a chance to win the entire season. Um, People didn't really think of us to be that good, but we started getting extremely good, especially towards the end of it. And a lot of the CPFL TA people moved on to like Desire, and Desire, for people who don't know, was just an absolute super team. We brought back all the best players of like the past that we can get in contact with, all the best players at that current time, and everyone who we thought had a chance to be a top tier player, and we fully stacked the team. It was completely unnecessary. But after winning that, then PR won multiple seasons and everything. It wasn't fun playing on super teams anymore. Like I didn't really get any joy out of it.
Yeah, because you're just, you go on and you win. It's like,
Yeah,
there's
there
no
wasn't.
like, there's no
There was
like,
never the
oh,
stress
we
of
might
losing.
lose. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, I get that. So,
Mm.
Oscar, did I ask you this question the other
No clue.
episode?
I don't know.
Oh, dude, my memory is so garbage. I should have rewatched the other one. So just in case, what were your previous teams, Oscar?
I was in SG at first, Spectral
Mhm.
Garrison. Then I was on PR for like a few weeks, and then I was
Okay.
like, "Oh shit, this is boring as hell," because they were obviously the best team, you know. And I went back to SG, and then I think SG disbanded or something, and then I went on to a team known as Ford.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Ford anymore. It's yeah. And after that, I went on to a
What's the
team called
team?
Aussie, which we don't talk about either. And then
Okay.
after that, I stopped playing comp, and then now I'm playing in Team Nuts for in
Yeah.
SEL.
What a wonderful name.
Yeah.
Who Team Nuts, who also just beat Cartel 2-0, like I called before the
Mm-hmm.
match. You guys made me look very smart because everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Cartel's gonna win." I'm like, "Nah, nah,
Nah,
they
bro, we got
aren't."
spirals this time, and it's like, yeah,
And you also banned Warehouse, which was a good move.
yeah.
You almost lost the first map though. It was very scary. But
Oh, Jafin pulled the master play, dude. Holy shit.
did you rewatch the stream with the
No, you need to
TV
see
commentary?
our voice chat reaction. I'll send it to. I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Me
Well, I
or
don't have you added actually. I accept my friend request real quick.
There
Chris,
we
you
go,
should watch the
accept you.
clip also. Just watch it.
Oh, I don't know if I should edit this in, so I'll just watch it on my phone for now.
Okay. Well, so look at the timer and look at the score, and just yeah.
Yeah, I watched the stream. I know what happened.
Oh my god, spirals.
Oh, dude, poor Ali. You must feel so like horrible after like
Yeah,
baiting your team.
I'm concerned if they like
I hope they
berated her.
Yeah, I hope they didn't yell at her. Like I'd feel so bad, cause like I don't know if she hurt him because you could clearly see him like walk to that
He was
spot.
just laying down there.
Yeah, and then walk. Oh, that was such a hype moment. I was like, and then the second map was kind of a wash. I'll be honest, like
Yeah.
Cartel as a match. Good should have stepped it up.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a really good match to watch. The first round at least. So I asked you before the podcast got started, but just in case, why did you not play SEL with Oscar and Spirals?
The amount of cheaters who are still allowed to play, and the amount of like extremely toxic people who are still allowed to play. I'll throw this one out there. There's someone in there who flashed themselves at a 14-year-old that is still allowed to play. So a lot of things that are just heinous, disgusting, if you will. People that cheated and were game banned many times are still allowed to play. People who quite literally flash their private parts to children are still allowed to play. And I just am not here to support any of that.
Oscar, that person who flashed, you mentioned him, right? In the last podcast, I did edit it out.
I may or may not have mentioned that person.
Okay.
That's the only thing I remember of him. I'm sorry. All right.
That's fine. You don't really follow SEL, right? Godstatus?
No, a lot of people still tell me about it because, I don't know, people feel the need to keep me up to date on it, but I know some.
Would you rather not be up to date to it?
It doesn't really matter either way. Like, I'm never going to come back to it. I play the game. I don't care about my skill level at this point whatsoever, so it's nothing I'm ever really going to return to.
Do you not miss it at all? Like the competitiveness at all?
No,
Playing on a team?
So ironically, CPFO was made to be the better CPFL, and I think I enjoyed CPFL more than I enjoyed CPFO. And I was at my peak toxic and trash talking levels in CPFL. I was a menace to society back then. Nobody liked me. And it was for good reason. I was very much playing up a character of being extremely cocky and extremely arrogant. But I think that even back then, like, trash talk was kept at just, you're bad, or, I'll slap you in a game or whatever. It wasn't, yeah, we're going to post your house and your family's addresses and nobody gets in trouble for it.
Yeah, doxing seems to be a big problem in this community.
Very.
Yeah, it happened the other day. So
yeah. So it's definitely become far more toxic than. It's no longer a fun level of trash talking.
Why?
It's very much personal to people.
Like everyone here, like, why do you think this community is so toxic? Because it's like outrageously toxic at times. Like it's.
Truthfully, for a long time people weren't punished for their actions, so they just feel like they can walk over everything.
Godstatus, like, is the reason? I don't know if you were admin or something, right, in CPFO?
Yeah.
Something. Well, is that the reason why you didn't enjoy it? Because you had to, regulate, say, guys, you're not allowed to do
Well,
this.
all right, so I'll give you my take on this, and I already know the people who are going to refute this and just be annoying about it. I got a lot of blame for a lot of things because I was the one who carried out punishments, even though every punishment I ever carried out was voted on. Like, I followed the processes we had, and, we tried getting as many, like, moderators and people who could vote in from as many teams as we possibly could, but the fact of the matter was, there was a lot of people that we simply just couldn't trust because of who they were friends with and their toxic levels and blah blah blah. So I very much followed every single rule that I was required to follow. I always had things voted on. I would even sometimes bring people's opinions from people who weren't even staff, just people who had been around a really long time and I trusted their judgment on things. I would go and ask them about stuff. So I always had things voted on. I always took everyone's opinions. I was the one who carried out punishments, so people started rallying up. Conveniently, the most toxic and disliked people in the community started rallying up to blame me for all the issues. And conveniently, I left and literally nothing improved. Like, not that I was doing the best job of things either. I still carry a lot of blame in certain things, but me leaving did nothing. It didn't improve anything. The same people who walked all over us because I wasn't allowed to handle them continued to walk all over the staff team, and they just didn't really care to punish people who shouldn't have been there for a long time.
I think Mutisma was told by certain people that you went power mat, and I assume they mean this part. So.
Yeah, like I said, I was just the one who did the command,
It
the
was
ban
just
command.
on your name. Not,
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't actually only you choosing to ban people or like punish people.
Yeah, I don't think there was a single ban I ever did that wasn't fully voted on. Unless it was like someone spamming like racial stuff or, things like that.
Makes
But
sense.
outside of that, like any serious matter was always an entire staff team vote. So people were never held accountable for voting yes for their ban. It was me held accountable because I carried out the command. Which I get why they did that, but it was also the people who were lobbying for this and writing against us essentially were the most toxic people, and most of them aren't allowed to play in SCL right now.
They were basically rallying just to not be punished at that point.
Yeah.
So were those people the reason why you just left CPFO?
Well, no, even long before them, I had said once like my main group of friends stops playing, I'm not going to play anymore. And I even said that at the start of my last season. And then, of course, when I left, everyone's like, "Oh, he left because he lost. He's bad at the game." Like, I was just there to have fun. My team literally had like 3 or 4 people on our primary roster who'd never played competitive once in their life prior to that season. I was literally just there to have fun.
Yeah, I mean that should if you're especially if you're a new player, that should be your main focus, just to have fun. Because in SEO, a lot of not so good teams disbanded because they were like, oh wait, we're not winning anything because it's like the expectations were like completely wrong. Like you're probably not gonna win a lot unless you're really good.
Yeah.
If you're new and you want to have somewhat fun in comp, just don't talk. Just don't talk. Just if you ever just talk with your team. Don't talk ever in the Discord server, and that's all you gotta do, really.
Find a team you vibe with, you enjoy talking with, and just talk with them, and don't go into the SEL thing and talk with other people.
So if you're still not decent at the game, instead of trying to make people get mad at you from for example bottom fragging and PFMM, you should try training on your own, and then try PFMM, which will improve you without making everyone hate you for bottom fragging from time to time.
The problem is with PFMM, it's the best way to individually improve, but it's also the scariest thing to do for a new player, I assume, because I assume you guys know what PFMM is, right? I see Spirals play it time to time. Yeah. It's SEL is kind of moderated, so the toxicity isn't, but PFMM has nothing to do with SEO, so the moderate. I like Bryce, but people still go off way too much, even with his moderation. So
yeah,
I can understand why new players are scared to try out PFMM.
I mean,
it's so mental to me that people get angry. Wait. It's so mental to me that people get angry about losing in PFMM when it literally means nothing. It just means a number goes down next to your name. That's all it means. So
unless you're in below 800, then
no, even then, if I had 100 elos somehow, I wouldn't care and just keep playing. It doesn't mean anything.
I mean, if you have 100 elo, most of the time that means either you are so unlucky you always end up on the bad teams that loses, or you just make your team lose,
You've got to
or you
find
don't, or you
enjoyment.
don't contribute to winning.
You've got to find enjoyment in the game even when you lose, in my opinion. Like, you can't always win, so you shouldn't be mad when you
Yeah,
lose.
well, I mean, every experience also makes you better.
That's
Like,
true.
I respect the fact, like, I'll take the same example that I did from a previous podcast. Username, I mean, a player called Jin Moretti. First time he played, he had like his like almost 30 deaths, and I was like pretty much. I'll be honest, I was kind of like trolling, saying, "Oh, you can reach the record for the most deaths." He was laughing about it as well. I was like, I'm gonna do it." Uh, and he still like plays PFMM from time to time because I feel like he wants to get better, and that's how like people who aren't like decent at the game should actually like follow. Like they should watch him and do what he does, even though he's getting shit on all the time. Like everyone is like, "Oh no, we have Jin Marati, we're gonna lose," but he still plays,
What a
which is,
soldier.
I mean,
What a
yeah.
legend.
Despite all the shit talk, he continues playing.
Watch him, SEO Season 2, Tier 2 player, watch it.
Season
um,
3, Tier 1 top player.
so, let's move on from this topic. Okay, listen, have you guys, before playing PF competitive, have you played any other game competitively? If not, like, a game with, like, ranked and stuff, you know, that's, like, kind of serious.
Yeah, so I played a lot of Counter-Strike prior to PF. I was SMFC on there and B plus ESEA.
Okay.
I've been playing FPS games for a long time. I guess Counter-Strike's the only one that I've really played quote unquote ranked or anything like that. Even nowadays I still play games outside of PF for ranked. Like I was Diamond on Apex, I was Immortal on Valorant. Like I still casually play a lot of other games outside of it, but I think CS:GO is the only real ranked game that I played consistently before PF.
What about you, Oscar?
I mean, I played Counter Strike obviously, but most of the time I haven't really been that much of a competitive player. I was just playing Counter Strike. I was playing comp obviously, but that was just with my friend, just playing Vertigo or something, jumping down to their spawn, and we dual Berettas or whatever.
Old
Uh,
Vertigo.
yeah,
Good
exactly.
times.
And I played a lot of Surf, B-Op, whatever, you know.
Mm.
But it was only when Phantom Forces came upon I became more of a competitive player generally, you know. So yeah. I mean, I say I was pretty good when I joined for the first time in CPFO. But yeah.
What does pretty good mean? Like tier 2? Tier 3?
Oh no, they wanted me banned.
Oh, tier 1. Okay.
Yeah, no, Oscar was really good when he first joined.
I mean, like, what we expect from old gens, like, what most people expect is that if they've, like, the first time they joined competitive, most people think they were, like, average. Even though, if you look at most of the old gens now, like, that were, like, top players, I mean, that are top players, like, at their peak, they were still good. Like,
Mhm.
for example, Oscar, you've always been good in competitive. Same with Godstatus. Like you guys always have been crushing everyone in competitive.
Well,
Always were
I'll
carries
I'll add
almost.
in I was not that great at the game when I first joined. Um so PF weirdly is a really weird FPS compared to other games. It's one of the games that I feel like if you don't play for like a week or like a month, it's like a hard rust that hits you. Like you
Oh
really
yeah.
have to take time to actually like it's a whole different mindset when you play PF compared to like any other FPS I play. Like I play Valorant maybe once a week and I consistently hold Diamond 2. But I play like PF if I don't play for a week, I just feel completely off. So when I first started on PF, I was not that good. You guys may not know him, but Elite Elite Bob dumpstered me back then. Like used an AKM, and I just didn't understand anything about the game. I didn't understand nade timings. I didn't understand maps. Like there was so much I had to learn where I really was tier 2 at best. Like that we're talking on a good day, I was maybe tier 2. I played a lot of PFMS, which is basically the PFMM of back then. And then I also the team that I played on practiced quite a lot. So Oscar was a lot better than I was when I first joined by a long shot. It took me probably a good, I want to say 2 or 3 months before I started getting relatively decent at it. And then with probably like a year, I was top player.
I
I mean,
mean,
if I were to
For
point out,
example,
people at like
me,
rank
like
40. I joined
Yeah,
at
go ahead.
rank 130, and I've played with quote unquote good players before. So, to be fair, I had more experience.
Yeah, you started at rank 40, you said, right, Gold? So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's like
That's impressive. If you started competitive at rank 40, that means you were really good.
I mean, I was better than your average player, but like no means was I anything crazy special. Like it was the one thing I talk about a lot is that people who get called out for cheating the second that they join, most of the time we have like the people we have ever called out for cheating or suspected of cheating have been cheating or ulting. Oscar's like one of the very few exceptions where he came in, but like you said, he was a higher rank. He had played with good players for a while, so he had a good understanding of the game. There was a very noticeable increase in my skill level throughout time. Like I didn't just randomly show up becoming the top frag and beating the top players. I got my ass handed to me for a few months. There's screenshots of me going almost negative against people who were not the best players in the game. Like I definitely had a gradual increase of skill, and you could see as I started ranking up a lot. I spent a lot of time in PFMS. I think I was ranked 1 in PFMS at one point, but I played it a
PFM.
lot. It was basically the PFMM of back then. Um,
Oh,
but I played that quite a lot, and like I said, the team I was on like actively practiced and went over strategies and things like that. So like I said, I got my ass handed to me. I have no problem admitting that. I have screenshots of my old computer of me going negative in PFMS. Um, so it took a long time for me to improve, but I definitely was nothing special when I first started.
makes sense. Like rank 40, you've got a grind. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
there's nothing
If
to be
you join
ashamed of.
competitive, like if you join competitive like sub rank 100, that means like you're kind of decent at the game.
You
Like
have
we've
potential.
had, for example, Dungeon, who started like rank 80, and he's not that bad. Like he's like a second or third fragger like all the
Mhm.
time.
If he keeps grinding, he's like a high tier 2. So
Yeah, for sure. Now, he has like a lot of potential,
you could also
but
argue
the thing is,
joining. Wait, you could also argue joining like comp when you're like lower rank is actually really good because it like you don't get any like bad habits from playing pubs as much because you're
Yeah.
not playing comps early on. So
Mhm.
it's
but
one.
also
That's a plus.
the thing is, if you join comp like low rank, most people won't really want you because when you're low rank, you might have skill, but the thing is, most of them don't have good awareness, which is a problem also with Dungeon. Like he has good aim, has like good like well yeah basically good aim, good strats like in his strats, and well I mean the fact is he also doesn't have much awareness
Mhm.
because awareness probably in my opinion builds up over time. Like the more you know the maps, the more you know where enemies can come from, and that's why rank like matters a little bit because you know about the game more. Like it's Phantom Forces is like a unique like FPS. It's not like any others.
Mhm.
It's like its own, like it's not an original idea, which also makes it more difficult to like be immediately good at it.
Mm.
So I
It's
mean
very,
that's what
very,
I
very,
think.
very similar to Battlefield 4. It is based off of Battlefield 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but the
mean
movement system and everything else is much different.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think you can like fucking like what's it called, super jump in Battlefield 4.
Yeah, no.
I've played it before and I don't remember doing that. So.
Another advantage I had, especially starting out, was, and this is something that I see that lacks a lot nowadays. The team I joined was nobody on our team was considered a top tier player when I first joined, but I don't think there was anyone on that team that didn't want to be a top tier player. It was very much every single one of us showed up whenever we played wanting to improve, and we actively worked with each other. And the guy Jake, who ran the team, actively went out of his way to try to teach everyone as much as he could. So he was like our main strat guy where we learned a lot from, and he taught me a lot, especially movement and all that. Like I knew nothing about it. I didn't even know super jumping was a thing until like rank 60. Like I knew so little about the game, and there's so many intricate, tiny things. Like back when jump sliding was a thing, I didn't know that was technically the fastest movement and the best way to go about things. So my entire team wanted to actively improve, and nobody ever had a negative attitude towards things. We would go into matches, we'd get our ass handed to us, and it was never like, I don't want to play anymore. It was always someone was recording, and Jake would usually go through and see where we messed up and come back and kind of go through it all with us.
Sounds a bit like what Dangnam is doing with gamers, right, Matt? Kind of similar.
Yeah, but also
Mm.
that's what most teams need, a trainer.
A coach
Yeah.
of some
Like
sort, or
what they
just a
need is
leader
that,
figure.
yeah, like an old gen that can teach new gens. We've already spoken about this with another one, but we need to say it again. Like any old gens, like look at a team that has a lot of potential because most of the like players are already good as a new gen. For example, like Pass is like majority new gens, and we're pretty good for a new gen team, and we're still not at our peak. Like we have a lot, like a lot of potential to go on. So like one trainer would probably make us blow up into like almost top players,
Definitely.
which is
Def-
why,
This whole
which is
conversation sucks, to be entirely honest. I was denied a slot on PR because I was too low of a level despite having a 7 KD. Elite Bob was just not willing to try me out.
that was the screenshot. you
Everyone
shared,
has
right?
these humble come up stories. I had to join my fucking Vortex clan with a bunch of 13-year-olds.
Hey, I did too. I did too.
I had to join a team with a bunch of babies, and I was better than all of them. And they, like, since they were the leader, they had to try to explain why they were better because they've played more, but I was still better than them. I
Oh.
gave up my opportunity to try out for PR to Cramps.
Oh yeah. God.
I thought that he was a better player than me at the time because he was for nefarious reasons.
Yeah, Crimps actively. Well, he didn't cheat at first, but he did become the most renowned cheater in the game. But yeah.
damn, bro. Okay, so about cheaters. So
Oh,
there
no.
are
Mm.
cheaters who perform like underperform a lot. Season 11 Botinator going negative against us when he was cheating. How could you go negative when you have cheats?
Because
By doing
cheats
a
don't
good job at
necessarily
hiding
bring
them.
any skill. Yeah, and it's also
Was
your.
that if the person wasn't banned mid-match, then they succeeded whether or not they went negative.
So here's the thing with cheats is that especially when you're trying to hide them, like there's been a lot of people who have cheated and I've called them out the first game we've played against them and people are like, oh no, they're legit, and they get banned a few months later. But when you're actively trying to hide something, you don't play anywhere near to like an actual level that you could really play at. Like you have that upper hand because you know when someone's coming and you could be a little bit more active in how you're playing, but you're always trying to hide something. You're always trying to make sure you're not looking in a certain direction for a bit too long, and you're playing a lot more with your mind than just kind of automatic.
Yeah, I mean, one cheater that was really invested into making sure people didn't think he was cheating was the Pants season 10 and 11. So, Epsilon, I don't know if you guys know him,
No.
called him out day one. First match, called him out. And then the Pants all the time was like, "Hey, I'm not cheating. I don't cheat. I don't have cheats. I don't cheat." All the time to Epsilon, and then gets banned. Huh, I wonder why. Because
Yeah.
he cheated using RCM.
There's so many people, especially towards the end of competitive, that were actively cheating, but for some reason weren't getting banned. Like, this isn't an attack on him, but I'll give a good example at Bedtime Pencil, who was banned literally like 4 times, and every single time he was able to talk his way out of it. Like, it was just.
He's on tomorrow, by the way, on this episode. So on the
Yeah, he was one of the people that were banned, I want to say 3 or 4 times, and managed to
He-
talk his way out of it every time.
But he
I
did
think he
admit
cheated.
to he did admit to it, right? That's,
Yeah, after being banned 3 or 4 times. Like,
it's a
the issue
miracle if he
was
can still
that,
play. That's pretty.
yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that, and I don't have anything personal against him. It's just the fact that we knew he was cheating for so long, and we just, for some reason, kept letting him play.
It's
That's
Just
just
let
my
Alright,
French
side.
well,
people play PF at all. Not even just comp. No French people in PF at all. The game would be a little bit better.
Okay, Spartles.
Okay.
Okay. Oh wait, I'm not French. I'm Canadian French. Let's go. It's not the
I
same
could
thing.
argue it's worse.
Wow.
I mean, is he
Okay,
wrong?
Sparrows.
Is he wrong? I don't know.
I mean, the French have a really bad reputation because of Xeno, Depensed. I mean, I've heard of one good Canadian French player. I never forgot his name though.
Dr. Stoney.
Yeah. So Sparrows, I don't know if you still agree that French people are bad at Phantom Forces.
Yeah, he didn't have the accent though. He wasn't like you guys. He wasn't. He
Wow.
wasn't a goblin.
Okay, dude.
Dr. Stoney was actually quite cool.
Okay, Spirals.
Brandon Dewey is
I
awesome.
mean,
I see how it is.
mods, like, I've yet to find any French or French Canadian guy online that I like.
Okay, Robodang.
Anyway, let's move on. So, Godstatus,
What's up?
what were your 3 favorite teammates to play with? Not even in skill, just in fun.
Spirals is definitely up there.
Wait,
Spirals
what?
is just.
Let's go.
He was asking my favorite teammates to play with. Spirals is just a hoot. Win or lose, it was a fun time.
Yeah.
Jake will
bronze.
definitely have to be up there because Jake taught me a lot of what I know about the game, and like I said, he actively cared at the time about improving everyone on the team. It really took a lot out of his own day to go about helping people. So Jake would
Jake
be up
had this
there as well.
crazy strategy as an in-game leader / team captain, where we would, on average, like we would go and VOD review all of our matches. We would have 30% less deaths of us getting headshot because his head was so big that ours were hard to
Okay.
hit in comparison.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Shut up.
Damn.
But no, Spirals, Jake, and then if I
Y'all
have to
thought that
think
was
one
real.
more.
Y'all thought I was about to spit a real.
Spirals, Jake, and I'm trying to give a third one. I'm trying to think of who I've played with over the years that like consistently came up.
Funny thing, me and Chris has never played together ever.
Yeah. I'll probably say either Prej or Senior. Probably Prej. Because me and Prej were kind of like a dynamic duo together. But
So wait, what do you think of Prej?
oh, I love Prej. I've talked to him almost like every day for the past 3 years.
Damn.
Didn't he go like against you once and people like I've heard someone say that was like the most epic like showdown.
We've played against each other a few times. Nothing was really that crazy when we played against each other, truthfully. Prej was just considered a top player. I was considered a top player, and it was obviously, two big names in the community going against each other, but I don't think we ever had anything super crazy. I can't say that Prej is like, before when I would do like 1v1s for fun, Prej is the one person who could actively beat me on like all levels. He just knew how to play against me. He was a lot smarter when he played, whereas I'll just run at you in a straight line. I don't really care. Prej was really smart when it came to things, and he didn't mind
Best
adapting
strat.
his play style. Yeah, no, I play like a complete idiot. I play competitive. I always have played competitive like it's a pub
Top
match.
frag every like almost every team's.
Yeah, but I also
Interesting.
don't really care about my death. So it wasn't the best strategy out there, but it's just I can't sit back and really play much strategic. Like the one thing we did with TA that really benefited me, because I was very much and I still would be a headstrong solo player. In TA, we forced ourselves into the buddy system where kind of giving away our strat here, we would have a like kind of lineup before going into game where the stronger player would get a secondary player who wasn't as good as them, but would complement how they play. So I would get someone who, let's say, is really good at close range fighting, whereas I was okay and comfortable all around. That close range player would stick with me the entire game. We would literally be butt buddies the entire game. And that's just how we won most of our things, is that there was never just one of us you had to fight. It was always two. Whereas other teams would try to set up people around the map. You were always 2-on-1.
This is actually what I'm trying to do with Pass, but I'm not gonna leak too much. Dude, I always thought, like, I don't know who told me this, but I thought you were a anchor player, but I guess not. You're just in your face kind of player. Okay.
No, I definitely could anchor. I wasn't opposed to doing it. One specific game where I anchored hard for us was, and I think it's still on my YouTube, TA versus S2K, where God, I don't know what happened to my teammates. There was people like Shadow Sentinel and stuff on that game, I think, where Will just did terrible, and I have no idea why. But that game, I think I dropped like 40 kills, which was considered a lot back then. And I anchored Desert Storm Sniper's Nest, so all the way to the left side of the map. The entire game, I just anchored that. So we ended up winning that one literally barely. We probably should have lost that, but I could anchor, but I would be much happier just kind of blindly running in.
Around, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also way more fun playing that way.
Oh, 100%.
So now you did from three most fun teammates, Godstatus, to your
Mhm.
three most skilled teammates.
Three most
Yeah.
skilled.
Mm-hmm.
Prej is definitely up there. Without a doubt, hands down Prej. Um,
Is this no Pratch?
yeah, no Prej.
Okay.
So no Prej. Spiral's probably up there as well. And then as far as overall skill, it's hard because we had like Desire, which like we brought back Siren Burst and everyone, and whether you didn't know it or not, Siren Burst was considered one of the best players back when he played. He never really even
Like,
played with
I
us,
think
but
it
he was
was
there.
Lion who told us a complete different story.
Said
What
it was
about Siren
average.
Burst?
Yeah, he said it was
Yeah, but
average.
that was 2 years after Siren quit the game. Come on now.
Hmm?
I talked a lot of crap about Siren, but from what I understand and from things I've seen, Siren was a top player when he played. So I can't speak on when he came back and played in like public matches against me. You know, what does that matter at all?
Yeah.
But back in his time, he was relatively top tier. But
I mean, you've got to be good to have a call out named after you, right?
well, he played very passive with the H bar, but he was still a solid player from what I understand.
Okay.
So I don't mean to discredit him in any way. But probably no Prej, Spirals, and then as far as like overall, I think Jake would also still have to be up there because Jake had this weird sense for like leadership, for being the team captain, where everything he really went over and like the strategies he made almost always worked for us.
Was this in name Jake or is this just his
Jakinator.
it's Jakinator. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Also, Line told us, well, yeah, again, told us something about Jakinator, him just banning Nolan because he didn't like him. What do you think of that?
That's not necessarily true.
Man, if there was a
Nolan,
control F for conversations for finding all the times that Jake was a bitch in history and we just kind of put up with it, there'd be a lot. There'd be a whole lot. He
So-
deleted a lot of discords over very minor things over
I'll
the size of his head.
okay. I'll say this now. Nolan has become a lot more bearable for me. There was a long time I very much disliked Nolan. Nolan was very
Nolan
much
still
disliked
has me
by.
muted from CPFO 2016 transgressions. I don't know if you want to say that he's changed.
Okay, well, you have
Yeah,
grudges from
I
like
don't like
2012.
I
either.
do not. I do not.
So
I
Nolan was
How dare you?
honestly one of the most disliked people, even in CPFL and the beginning of CPFO. I had a lot of issues with him back then as well. I don't have any current issues with him. He's, he can DM me at any point. I'd happily have a conversation with him. Nolan got a lot of toxicity warnings, a lot of rule breaking things. Like, for some reason, which people still think I made up this rule when I didn't. I was a founder of CPFO, but I'm going to be honest with you, it was more or less just so my name was attached to it. I didn't really write any of the rules. Like, they would send me the rules and I would pretend to look over them, be like, yep, it's good to go. Which granted, I probably should have looked over them. But I didn't make any of the rules. And like Nolan got a few toxicity warns, and then he got banned at one point for like teabagging me in a match.
He got banned from the cumulative teabagging of an entire nation. He
Yeah.
literally teabagged like 100 plus times, and we told him every time. We gave him so much leniency because we were all unwilling to ban someone just for teabagging too much, and he just kept going.
Yeah. Then there was just the toxicity parts of it and everything. Like, he did not have the best track record back then. Like I said, I don't currently have any issues with him. I'd be more than happy to talk to him at any point, but he was not necessarily banned for no reason. He had a long history. He was one of the people that was honestly considered to not even be allowed into CPFO initially because of his history with things.
Just so you guys know, just opened a can of worms because Mutismo over here despises him. He hates him more than anyone else. I'm convinced. But
Yeah.
last episode I had to edit out 50. I calculated 15% of the episode was Mutisma talking about how much he hates Nolan. I'm not even.
Because
joking.
okay, let me say it again.
No.
I'll do it.
No.
Shut up. I'll
Okay.
do it. All right. So
Okay.
the fact is,
Oh my
Nolan
God.
false banned me twice in CPFO, because he wanted to. I won't go like in the actual details because or else Robo will think I love him, even though that's not the case. And he also banned me for PFMM because, yes, that's why. Yeah. So that's why I dislike Nolan, just because he's a dickhead to
See,
me.
like I said, I had issues with him in the past, but there's very few people from the past that I hold any grudge against. So like I said, if he ever needed me for anything, he's more than welcome to add me and message me. But I don't have any real issue with him now.
Life's too short to hate on people.
Oh no, I hate many people. I promise
Oh.
you.
Oh,
He's just not
obvious.
one of the people I hold a
Okay.
grudge at.
I think I know
like,
one
the
of
few
them.
times I interact with him, he seems alright now. Like, reasonable guy.
He's gotten a lot better than what he used to be.
Yeah. Which team did you have the most fun with in Godstatus?
Ooh, the most fun might be BS Bobby Shmurda. I think that's the one time like I got back into competitive. It was my last season where I purely played for fun. I had not a single care in the world if we lost. So I'd probably say them. Like, of course we played to win, but if we lost, it was never a sad day. None of us really cared.
It wasn't people tilting on
Like
each
you
other.
guys weren't crying or smashing your desk.
No, like I'll
I'll
give you a very specific example that Oscar is actually a part of. We played against Ford in like the semifinals, and Ford was undefeated that season because they were just stacked beyond belief.
Okay.
And mind you, they also had multiple people cheating at the time. So we played against them, and it was on Prison Break, where we got down. So I don't know if you guys have ever had this issue. I'm sure you have, where you're playing a game and the match technically ends, but you're still able to kill people. They had that where Warsong, quote unquote, it was actually Luminary playing on his account, as much as he wants to deny that. We know it was.
Spicy.
So he got a kill at the end of the round, and I think it was kill confirmed. So he got one tag technically after the round had ended, and we technically should have been a tie, which would have ruined their perfect record. And they came to us asking like,
point out one thing. You know, STX was actually really good at the season, right? We tied with them one round.
"Did you?"
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why you guys ape raged that time, but
I don't know.
yeah. So they technically would have tied against
perfect
us.
record. Oh my god.
They technically would have tied against us, and like I said, mind you, that game we had RS Cool 34 Raw quite literally like laying in one corner, just anchoring a spot. Like he wasn't even full pushing or anything. He was literally like laying in a corner, just playing one spot, so they didn't run that way. So we were more or less playing like 4v5 or whatever it was, but nonetheless, they ended up beating us by one, and they came to us, and I quite literally said, "I don't care, like just give them the win. We're just here to play to have fun." And they were ape raging. They went ballistic at us, and then I, of course, again got blamed for trying to rig the match. Even though the second they asked me, I immediately said, "I don't care. Just give them the win." Like none of us cared that much. So yeah, no, that was probably my most fun season though, because I literally played not a single care in the world about how good I was doing or anything.
Yeah. Did you still perform though?
To an extent, like playing against Ford, like I said, they were stacked beyond belief, and they had one or two people cheating on there. But like
1 or 2 is a short number from what I've heard.
well, one or two that we know were actively cheating. Bedtime
Oh,
was
yeah.
one of them who was cheating. That last game we played in the
Bedtime in
semifinals.
Warsong.
What do you say?
It was Bedtime in Warsong.
Yeah, so Warsong was also cheating. The last game we played, that semifinals match, Luminary was on Warsong's account.
Yeah.
And it was extremely obvious because he randomly took out an L86 and became top frag. So we knew Luminary was playing, which Luminary was banned at the time for doxing, I'm fairly sure.
Mhm.
So Luminary
Massive
ulted into his account, and like I said, they beat us by one. We almost tied them, and I just didn't care. I was there to have fun. And then that was the same season where I said I'm not gonna play anymore if my friends quit, and most of my friends quit, like Senior, Midnight Steps, Chafin, we're all done playing. And I just didn't care anymore. But of course that got twisted and blown out of proportion. Even SCL recently, I joined a team and then quit because of all the reasons I listed earlier. And I had some kid randomly DMing me saying, "Oh, I heard you got kicked off the team for being toxic." And I was like, "What? Like, how did
Which
that
team?
even get the team that we were gonna make with me and Oscar and everyone?"
How do you
Oh,
get
yeah,
kicked
Raven
off a
State.
team for being toxic when you haven't even played yet?
Yeah, like so I literally left because I left without saying anything. And within I want to say like the first day of me being in the SCL Discord, people were constantly mentioning my name trying to start stuff. And I was like, okay, like that's competitive. It is what it is.
I was there, yeah. I was
Um
there, but, yeah.
and even after that, like I left because of the issues I talked about, and it got twisted crazily again. Like I literally just left because I didn't want to support the league. And some kid messaged me, I want to say it was like a month ago now. So it's been a long time. It was like, "Oh, I heard you got kicked because you were toxic and blah, blah, blah." And I was like, how did that even come to be? Like, where did things get so twisted? I don't get
Well,
it.
because I've been banned from SCL for
2 months.
for a stupid reason, for a rule that didn't even exist, and then it existed after I got banned.
That's so scuffed.
And
So scuffed.
yeah, for 3 months and one day. And well, some people like okay, so I was playing in a pub, and then there was comp players, and one of them said I got banned for cheating. I'm on Mac and have no money. How do you want me to have cheats on Mac and still bottom frag almost?
Mind you, yeah, mods is usually the bottom fragger. Like,
No, not bottom fragger, like third
okay.
most of the time. More third or second.
And in
I
that
never top
in
frag.
that variation of pass, sure.
There was
Yeah.
also a rumor that went around that I cheated at some point as well, which I found hilarious, but
Did
especially
you
because
ever
I
own
actively.
cheats, though? Did you own cheats?
Oh, I got Synapse for free from 3DS Boy, the creator of it. Yeah, I've had Synapse forever. I've never cheated while playing PF competitively or anything like
I
that.
mean, Synapse
Um,
isn't really made for cheating. It's just to run scripts.
Yeah. But I've had Synapse forever. Like I said, I got it free directly from the creator of it.
Where's
I've
that?
never used it in competitive or anything like that. There was one clip. Okay, so this got thrown around for so long about me cheating. A friend gave me a lag switch that I used against him specifically in a warm up. And so I lag switch killed my friend like twice. And someone saw me do it, and they held it against me and praised and raved that I cheated forever, claiming that I was actively cheating, even though most games I had like 40 ping. But who knows at this point?
Yeah, whatever.
Dude,
People just try
the
to.
fact that you just said I own Synapse, someone like an old gen must be like, yes, I knew it. He was cheating, even though you.
Oh, without a doubt,
Now
someone
I
will
can
report it.
finally report him and get him banned and cancel him. Yes!
Oh, without
The
a
day
doubt.
has come.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for so many years. It is time. My brothers, we will ban Godstatus. And there's
It was
just
funny
like
though, because like I said, there was a very obvious skill increase when I first started playing. I almost never had a cheating allegation ever. Because there was such an obvious, like, progression throughout my skill. I don't think I ever was realistically called out for cheating until like years later. And
Yeah,
it never made sense to me, but
you didn't go from bottom fragging to 50 the next day, so.
yeah, no, not at all. Like I said, I got my ass handed to me for a few months.
Wadict. What?
That was like Cramps. Cramps quit for like 3 or 4 months and came back and was the best player ever.
The thing about
Which
Wadict, he was in pass, like first match. Okay, so basically, normally, like in practice, he's like he never top frags or so, and out of nowhere in the match, top frags, and wait, second round top frags. First round it was 4v5 since he had to go do something. Then joins back, drops a 5 KDR.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Tar
And
21 on desert, like no recoiling people across the map.
yeah, with Tar 21 as well. Try doing a long range kill with Tar 21, no recoil. All right.
People are dumb. It bothers me, but
Dude, I don't understand why you cheat. Like, the most of the fun for me is like just seeing how well I can do when I'm like.
No, yeah, if you would cheat, if I would cheat, I wouldn't hide it. I would just rage hack because I find it
Okay.
funny.
Okay,
I would just start spin botting, flying everywhere around, just doing headshots only.
Look at this guy. Like, keep looking at this guy. Like, he's gonna do
Bro,
something.
I'm on Mac. What do you want me to use? Like a
Yeah.
fucking $5 million cheat? All right, sure.
Cheating
Because
in every
Apple.
game sucks. So it's like whatever.
Yeah.
So this is like you don't have to answer this, and you might have already like answered it in a Q&A at some point. I think you did. But what do you do outside of PF? Like work, studying, other
So for the past year, I work full time, and I've been going to college full time. I recently graduated, but
Let's go.
yeah, no, I mostly just game and work. I work really stupid hours, which is kind of why I overslept for today. So like sometimes I'll work 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Like today and tomorrow, I'm working an overnight shift. So like my sleep schedule is all over the place. I haven't had a consistent sleep schedule. And there's even times where I completely flip and I'll work a 9 a.m. shift. So my sleep is absolutely terrible. And then top that on top of YouTube and working or YouTube and streaming and for the past year college and everything. So it's mostly just work and games at this point. Like especially with COVID, there's nothing I really can do.
Yeah, to be fair, COVID. Do you mind
Alright,
saying?
well, anyways, guys, Momo will have to carry this because I have to go.
Again?
So
Sounds
goodbye.
good.
Mutisma. I don't have that long either, to be fair. So
Okay.
sorry that we're so on such a tight schedule. Like we basically the match got scheduled like yesterday because of the issues. But
Yeah, no worries.
anything you want to talk about? Like, this is like I want to talk about this. I want to get this
Uh,
off my chest.
Not necessarily. A lot of the things I could say, I kind of have to be. I don't have to be, but I would be kind of lenient around because it's not to draw unnecessary hate towards people. I'm not actively in the community, and I have way too big of a platform to kind of name drop people that get harassed at this point.
Yeah,
Um,
wouldn't be a smart idea.
but no, there's not necessarily anything specific. Like I said, I just play real casually now, do YouTube, mind my business. That's really about it.
Oh wait, this is a good topic. The LMG changes in test phase.
So I've heard a little bit about them. Apparently, some people are saying they got nerfed into the ground. I don't know how much I believe that. But them being changed is something that I've wanted for a really long time. LMGs have been completely unbalanced for
Yeah,
I
the
can give a
ever.
problem.
brief overview. Og H-bar can't free kill in CQC or 4 kill at range anymore.
Mhm,
Scarhammer can't 4 kill at range anymore. L86 is still the same, basically.
mhm.
RPK12 is the best gun in the entire game. M60 got nerfed. Doesn't 4 kill limbal range anymore. Colt LMG got slightly buffed, I think. And that's about it, really.
Yeah, the
So
cold
that's not
LMG
even
will
nerfed
never
into the
be. The
ground.
cold LMG will never be good because of its like weird recoil, in my opinion. But
Colt LMG is really solid.
close range, yeah, but like anything past 100 stats,
I
that
mean, it has
recoil
pretty
was
hard
so
range.
quirky. Um, why did you say the RPK12 is the best gun in the game?
No recoil, 1000 RPM, can now pick up bullets from ARs and carbines.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, they did the same with L86. I don't like that. It's now even better in my opinion. The L86, even despite the suppression nerf.
At
It's
least,
like it's kind of weird,
Hmm.
but it's like a good change because before, I'll be honest, besides like M16 stuff, a lot of the LMGs were just like better ARs. It's like
yeah.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
yeah. The only thing the ARs had over them was movement speed, and even that doesn't matter. You can just switch to your knife when you're like not fighting anyone. So
Yeah.
it's a good change. Well, despite the kind of bad exit Godstatus, did you enjoy competitive overall?
For the most part, yeah. I would say overall I did, but there was definitely
A
so
lot of
much
times.
negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was, like I said, especially towards the end, it just became everything was taken so personally and pushed way past limits that didn't need to be pushed.
At the end of the game, it's a Lego Battlefield, so yeah, people.
Yeah, but like even I don't know. I love Oscar, but the fact that Oscar played on Ford, uh, which they were the downfall to competitive in my opinion.
They
I've
were extremely
no
toxic, right? Was the
extremely
saying?
toxic. Like I said, the multiple people cheating, blah blah blah. They were without a doubt the downfall to competitive in my eyes.
It's a shame because I feel like it's such a sad story whenever you talk about comp because it sounds like it could have been a lot better if the community was a bit more mature and less toxic.
Well, yeah, and like I said, I carry some of that blame as well, along with the other staff and whatnot of CPFO. Definitely was not a one-sided thing. There was a lot of things we could have done better. There was a lot of things I could have done better. But the extreme toxicity from the community as a whole really hindered a lot of things. A lot of people just flat out didn't want to join because you would join and you might say something that wasn't 100% correct, and you were literally harassed for hours. Like they made it a point to drive people out of competitive. It felt like.
It's my first like bad experience was actually with Team Nuts. It's when you guys had that other guy as your team rep, and apparently Mutisma had scheduled a scrim with it, and there was like a misunderstanding from what it was, and we were like in
Mm.
the middle of the scrim, and the guy joined the voice chat because for some reason people could join our voice chats, and he was like screaming at us like, "You have a scrim right now. What are you doing?" and said a lot of slurs,
Uh,
and at that time I was like, "Do I want to continue this if people are like this?" Like
yeah,
it's
it's
stuff like
it's
that,
rough.
yeah. But it's whatever. For the most part, I still enjoy the game, and it's fun that I can listen to you guys about the old stuff that I missed.
Mm.
even if some of it is quite bad. In my
You didn't mess too much, I promise.
I don't know, like some of the games sound fun, like to watch or something.
Oh yeah, there was. Oh god. Oscar can weigh in a little bit here, but Spirals loves this topic of Roman Atwood Vitalize versus Funkster.
Oh my.
Which that was a battle of the ages. Two players who are not that great for some reason had drama, and it was just. I think we had like 15 people in a VC all just watching the match live, and it was God. It was a legendary.
Like the whole community just pulled up. Like I don't know who was like. Do we have recording of it, right?
I have the recording on my channel still privated.
Damn.
But yeah, no, it was absolutely hilarious. It was two like half decent people battling it out in a 1v1.
And then Roman calls Funkster an egg.
Yeah, he called him an egg and we just lost it. And that became like his nickname forever.
Ack. Okay, see, there are some good memories. It's not all bad. See?
Oh yeah, there's certainly some good ones.
Well, thanks for getting on the podcast, even though kind of was like last minute, but thanks to both of you and Spirals, who's muted at the moment.
Streams PF as the podcast starts. What a champion.
What a legend. Can't hate him for it. He's better than me, so that works. Yeah, but seriously, thanks for getting on. It's really cool that I get to talk with. You guys have like combined, like if you were to combine like 180,000 subs or something. Like, it's
Yeah.
mental.
A little
So
over
thanks
that,
for
yeah.
getting on.
Mm.
Joining a podcast that struggles to get 200 views, so thank you. Motisma always has like an ending line, but I'll be honest, it's completely left my head. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay simpin or something like that, and goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.